Well, g'day curd nerds. This is another Ask the Cheeseman video, and I'm going to be doing these regularly on Wednesdays. This one's question is from Sherry. Now, Sherry writes, my question is regarding the use of unpasteurized goat milk. We have milk goats and all the cheese we make uses goat's milk. Question 1, is it necessary to pasteurize the milk? What I mean by that, does it affect the end product? I understand it is safer and required by law if we sell it. Actually, I think they just passed a law in Australia that cheesemakers can use unpasteurised milk. Well, the answer to that question, Sherry, is that yes, there has been a change in the Food Standards Act, specifically under cheese making, where people in Australia can make cheese under certain conditions using raw milk. Basically, those conditions are that you must cook the curds above 48 degrees Celsius and that you must mature the cheese for more than 60 days, and it also has to be at a temperature of below 10 degrees Celsius. So I think your question is, how is it going to change the flavour, really, more than the law and all that sort of stuff? Raw milk cheese is extremely flavoursome, and that is because all of the native bacteria from the environment, from the grass that the animal eats, from how well the animal is, gets transferred into the milk and therefore gets transferred into the cheese. So raw milk cheeses, and I've only tasted one or two, they are amazing. They have a completely different flavour than you would have if you had made the same cheese with, say, pasteurised milk. Because during the pasteurisation process, all of the bacteria, native bacteria I just talked about, or flora they call it, is killed off. And when you use pasteurised milk for cheese making, you have to reintroduce bacteria back into the cheese, and that way you then have the acidification required for the rennet to work and for the lactose to get converted into lactic acid, which makes the cheese sour and over time flavoursome. So yes, the thing about safety, I think if you're using your own animals, which you are, you say you are, and that you know how clean they are, and that you use the milk within 3 hours of milking the animal, then it's going to be as safe as you can get. So give it a go. You will find the flavour is more intense, and it has the flavours introduced from your areas. I think the French have a word for it called terroir, or terroir, spelled Terroir. And it means the environment that the cheese is made in. Specific cheeses have that as part of their AOC certification in those sorts of countries. Anyway, the second question that Sherry's asked me is, can I use goat milk for all the cheeses you make? I have on your website and in your ebook, or does goat milk affect the way that some of these will turn out? Well, the quick answer to that is yes, you can. And there's a caveat on that, is that you need to use 15 to 20% more rennet when using most of the recipes that specify cow's milk for the cheese. And the reason behind is that goat's milk has smaller fat globules and is naturally homogenized. The cream doesn't rise to the top with goat's milk as it does with cows and buffalo milk. You don't see a cream line. So because the fat globules are smaller, you need to use a little bit more rennet to set the casein within the cheese, which is the white stuff that turns into curds, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. Pretty easy to work out. Just figure out how many milliliters of rennet that's in the recipe, and then times that by 15 or 20%. You'll have to experiment, of course. I've seen goat's milk camemberts, or fuzzy goat's cheeses, as they're known. I've seen blue cheeses made out of goat's milk. Feta obviously is made out of goat's milk, traditionally anyway. You can make cheddars out of goat's milk. They'll be a lot whiter because cow's milk naturally has beta carotene, which gives it a yellowy to orange colouring as it ages. So the cheeses will be a lot whiter. So hopefully, Sherry, I've answered all your questions, and that everybody watching or listening get some value out of these weekly Q&As with Ask the Cheeseman. As I mentioned, don't forget that at the end of the video there will be links to the other two cheeseman.tv videos that I made, and we'll keep them going. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Patreon to help these videos keep flowing, and we'll be able to get them on air a lot quicker. Anyway, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and we'll see you next time.